What is up, YouTube? Welcome back for yet another disc review. Today we're taking a look at the Discraft Focus. So historically, the Focus is a very deep feeling putter with a large bead and is commonly compared to the Wizard from Gateway. And looking back at handling the old Pro D Focuses, I can definitely see why. Very deep, high shoulder, and a big bead. However, these newer runs of the Focus, primarily in this new putter line plastic, they have a much flatter flight plate and the shoulder isn't nearly as high. Now, when compared to the premium plastic, that's what the old Pro D also looked like as we're looking at the titanium there. But in this new putter line, I will say that it feels like it's a lot shallower. The Focus in this line does not have that big high shoulder, doesn't have any kind of dome to the flight plate, so it actually works very well for those of us with smaller hands. But how about the flight? Well, it's a very point and shoot style putter, at least in this putter line plastic. I find it just to be very workable and very neutral. Whatever line you put it on, that's the line it's going to hold. If you throw it on a hyzer, it's just going to hold the hyzer the entire way, have a nice forward penetrating finish. When thrown flat, it'll get a little bit of turn in the mid-flight, but then with just a little bit of hyzer finish at the very end, it kind of just lands dead center. And when thrown on an anhyzer line, it will depend on how much angle you give it and how much height. If you throw it on a slight anhyzer, it's going to hold it for a good chunk of the flight, but then towards the very end, it's going to at least stable out and try to fight its way back, depending again how much height you give it. And if you put it more on a steep anhyzer line, then it's really going to hold that the entire way, pretty much all the way to the ground, even for those of you that have slower arms. So just like this, if you commit to that anhyzer line, it will hold it all the way throughout the flight. Now, out on the course, the Focus does have several good uses. I personally like it for just those kind of very slight, simple hyzer shots, just because it holds that hyzer the entire way. But then, you know what? As long as you keep it on a hyzer, I was very surprised how well it held up to the wind. It did straighten out quite a bit, but it didn't fully turn over, even into about a 10-mile-an-hour headwind. Really surprised me, but again, just a great point and shoot throwing putter. But how about for putting? Well, it's very similar. Inside the circle, just straight. Wherever you line it up, that's where it's going to go. But as you get more outside the circle, those longer putts, jump putts, the Focus does have a pretty strong dump at the very end. And if the putter line is too soft for you, the Crazy Tough flies very similarly to the putter line, at least when it comes to putting. So overall, the Focus comes in a wide variety of different plastic types, both in kind of more of a baseline and also premium plastic. Along with the putter line, I also have the Focus in titanium swirl and Crazy Tough. When it comes to the titanium, it's definitely the deepest of the three, which I feel gives it a little bit more glide than the other plastic types, and it also has the least amount of fight back, making it perfect for these gentle turnover shots. Versus the Crazy Tough, yes, these next few shots are thrown on a little bit to steep hyzers, and you can see just how well it holds the hyzer. It doesn't flip up to flat, doesn't want to turn, it just holds the hyzer line nicely. And when we get to the lefty lines in just a moment, you're really going to see the difference in flight the Crazy Tough has versus the other two plastic types when thrown at a relatively comparable angle. Now, with the putter line soft plastic, as you can see, it has a good little bit amount of turn to that mid-flight, but then it does try to level itself out and tries to fade at the very end. Versus the titanium, as I mentioned, it has that turn, but then it just kind of falls. It doesn't really have any kind of fight back towards the end. And then the Crazy Tough, my goodness, it just feels like it's a completely different disc. It gets almost no turn in that mid-flight, in that early flight. But then as the Crazy Tough slows down, it doesn't even act remotely like the other two. Unlike the titanium here, where it just kind of falls, minimum amount of hyzer back. On the other hand, the Crazy Tough just wants to do nothing but hyzer as soon as it slows down. It has a really nice hard finish to it, making it a great option for those windy days. Well, thank you all so much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I convinced you guys to go and try out the Focus, because it is a very fun putter to use, very neutral putter, absolutely a blast to throw. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe and smash that like button. Also, visit Great Lakes Disc if you want to get your Focus today, and be sure to use that promo code LEFTY in order to get 10% off your order. Thank you, Great Lakes Disc. Thank you, DiscDot, for the support. Till next time, keep banging them chains.